It's my latest Steelers mock draft right here on Steelers Talk. And today I got some pretty interesting picks. In round one, I'm taking somebody that I haven't taken yet in any of my previous Steelers mock drafts. So before I reveal who I'm taking in round one here, do me a favor. Click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already, because my bosses tell me that we can do a fan-led mock draft on next week's Steelers Talk Live if we can get to 500 likes on today's video, all right? So click that thumbs up icon. If we can get 500 thumbs up, we're going to be doing a fan-led mock draft on next week's Steelers Talk Live show. So now, let's get into my round one selection here, where I'm going to be taking Troy Fautanu, offensive tackle from Washington. He had a top 30 visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. They've shown a lot of interest in Fautanu throughout this process, and if he's here at number 20, I absolutely think this would be a slam dunk home run pick for the black and gold. I currently have him ranked as my number 3 offensive tackle in this class, above guys like Amarius Mims and Talise Fuanga, and the only guys I have above him are Joe Alt and Alou Fashanu. Okay, so I love Fautanu's game. I think that he's super intelligent. I think he does a lot of great things in his game, and I think he's super, super polished and ready to be a franchise left tackle from the word go in the National Football League. And another benefit to this is that Broderick Jones can stay on the right side where he played so well last year, man. And I know that Omar Khan has said we want to move Broderick over to the left side eventually, and I understand that. That's where he played in college. He played really well there in college, but man, when he came in at right tackle to replace Chukwuma Okorafor in the middle of last season, it completely changed the Steelers' run game. And if you look at Broderick's profile, he's somebody that's a mauling run blocker who struggles a little bit in pass protection. That sounds a lot to me like a right tackle in the National Football League. If you put him on the left side, maybe some of those deficiencies as a pass protector kind of show themselves, and that's not something I'm willing to risk. So if Troy Fautanu is here from Washington at number 20, I think that he would be awesome as a left tackle, and then Broderick Jones can be that mauling, run-blocking right tackle that he was towards the end of last season for the black and gold. And then I think that your offensive line is just a center away from being something that's going to be really, really good for the next 5 to 10 years. Now, what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Would you be happy with Troy Fautanu from Washington in round one at number 20? Type H if you would be happy, or type M if you would be mad. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then in round two, all right, some people might be saying, Jack, there's no way he gets here to number 51, but it's Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. Now, the reason why Jackson Powers Johnson is falling down draft boards right now is because teams are concerned with the concussion issues that he's had in the past there with the Oregon Ducks. All right, he is somebody that's had a number of concussions. And listen, man, JPJ plays a position where he is always getting his head hit. I mean, nobody gets their head hit more than the center on that NFL football field. And if you're a guy with a history of concussions, that is a major red flag if you play the center position. Now, Jackson Powers Johnson is excellent on film. Just based on the film alone, he is the number 1 center in this class, in my opinion. All right, plain and simply. I have him ranked above Graham Barton out of Duke, and I love that guy. All right, I have a round 1 grade on him as well. But Jackson Powers Johnson, I think if he didn't have the various injury issues with the concussion issue, he'd probably be a bona fide first-round pick. But because people are concerned that concussions are going to be a major red flag for him as he enters the National Football League, it's looking more and more like he's going to fall to round 2. And if he falls to number 51 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and even if the Steelers want to trade up a couple of spots to make sure they get him, it is absolutely worth the risk to me, because he is somebody that when he's on the field, he's like a perfect fit for what Arthur Smith wants in a center. He's massively athletic. He has a bunch of power. He plays with great technique, both in run blocking and in pass protection. He is somebody that's ready to play right away, and if he stays on the field, he's going to be menacing, all right? So at number 51, this is worth the risk to me, somebody that can really take this offensive line to the next level. Many Steelers fans, before this injury concern really came up, were saying, let's take him in round 1, so you're getting a round 1 center here in round 2. So coming up here, rounds 3 through 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers in my latest mock draft for the black and gold. But before I get into my picks for rounds 3 through 7 today. I want to tell you about today's sponsor at PrizePicks. And PrizePicks is awesome, man. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS right now, or download the PrizePicks app and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. PrizePicks has specials for new and returning users alike for the start of the MLB season. When you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. Football season is over, but the action on the diamond is just heating up. You can get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your baseball knowledge into serious cash. That is, if you know ball. The 2024 MLB season is now off and running, and you can pick more than or less than right now when you make some money from the comfort of your couch while you watch your favorite team play. PrizePicks is super simple to play, guys. All you do is you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can get started now, if you haven't already, at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match up to $100 today when you use our code CLNS. You can also download the PrizePicks app today for the same deal. Pick more or pick less. It's that easy with our friends at PrizePicks. Then here in round 3, we still need to get a wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm going to take Malachi, Corley, wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. Now, this guy is being compared to Deebo Samuel, but I actually think he's more translatable to a Rashee Rice. All right, somebody that's not going to be a stellar route runner for you. He's not going to win in the intermediate parts of the field or even deep as a route runner, but he's somebody that if you get the ball in his hands in open space, on a drag route, on a slant route, even on a deep crosser, this guy has the potential to take things to the house and F stuff up for the opposing defense, all right? So he's a bigger body. He's going to be a good run blocker. He can play either outside or in the slot. So he's got that versatility that you're looking for. I think he's somebody that George Pickens is going to be your intermediate and deep threat. Quez Watkins and Van Jefferson are going to be more your true deep threats. And then Malachi Corley is going to be your short yardage and yak kind of machine. So that's where I'm kind of going with this pick here. Malachi Corley. They've shown some interest in Deebo Samuel in the past. Shows that they might like a guy like this that can get this yak, can be a gadget guy as well. Really like this pick in round 3. Then also in round 3, I have the Steelers taking cornerback out of Kentucky, Andrew Phillips, who's a bit undersized, but he's got some nice versatility. He can play either in the slot or outside, and he's got great tenacity, man. Great instincts, can really, especially in zone, he can read the eyes of the quarterback extremely well. He's got good ball skills, good athlete. I wouldn't say elite athlete, but really good short area quick. So whether you want to put him on the outside, you want to put him in the slot, whatever you want to do with him, I think he's going to be a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, plus super physical player, and I know Mike Tomlin loves that in his DBs. Then in round 4, a player that the Steelers have shown a lot of interest in is Mason Smith, defensive tackle out of LSU. He's got a great physical profile, and Mike Tomlin likes to say, man, it's all about pedigree when it comes to these players, and then it's up to the coaches to get their potential out of them. So he's somebody that is big time on the traits. He believes in these guys, and Mason Smith is certainly somebody that if he develops, can be a real presence on the interior of the defensive line for this football team. Steelers have shown a ton of interest in him. If he's here at number 119, I think he's going to be the pick. Then in round 6, we go all the way to round 6 here. Inside linebacker Cedric Gray out of UNC. Super physical and athletic inside linebacker who still has a little ways to go in terms of his development. Inside linebacker is a really difficult position to play in today's era of football, but he's got the physical tools that you look for an every down inside linebacker. So with Cole Holcomb's future kind of uncertain, we'll say, I think getting a guy like Cedric Gray who could really grow into at least a rotational role to start and then go into a full-time starting position in the future, I think is a good investment for the Steelers. Then also in round 6, one of my sleepers here, so the story on Jalen Coker is I've been going through all of the different players and watching their film throughout this process, and, once you get to the 6th round, 7th round guys, it starts to get a little boring. This guy stinks, this guy stinks, this guy stinks. And all of a sudden, I get my hands on Holy Cross film with Jalen Coker, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because this guy is fast, he is shifty, he's 6'3". This guy can freaking move, and he's got a pretty nice route running skill set. And I definitely think he's somebody that when he gets NFL level coaching, he's somebody that could absolutely be a starting wide receiver in the National Football League. And he's somebody that could be a legitimate number 2 option someday to George Pickens with Malachi, Corley in the slot, or whatever the case you want to make there. Because right now, I think that you could certainly like to add another wide receiver towards the end of the draft here. And Jalen Coker, man, he's one of my Sperry psychos this year. He's a sleeper for me. I think that he is somebody that could absolutely develop into something legit in the National Football League. He's somebody to definitely keep your eye on throughout this process. So here's my mock draft haul here for the Steelers, my 7.0 version. Troy Fautanu in round 1. Jackson Powers-Johnson falls to round 2. Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky in round 3. Andrew Phillips, cornerback from Kentucky, can start right away. Also in round 3, Mason Smith in round 4, and then Cedric Gray and Jalen Coker, one of my favorite sleeper wide receivers in this year's draft, in round 6. So grade my mock draft for me down there in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you're feeling about this week's mock. And if you want more NFL draft or just Steelers content in general, I also put up channel updates on my Twitter and on my Instagram, so you can check that out at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got way more Steelers draft content coming your way leading up to the big day in Detroit here in a couple of weeks. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to never miss a thing.